Hi, my name's Rebecca. I started attending fellowship a little over a year ago, but my journey with my faith started when I was really young. I grew up a believer, and I did go to a Catholic school and church growing up. I did feel like, however, I had a lot of questions growing up, and I felt like they weren't always the most welcome, so that kind of started my journey when I was older. I saw a lot of other people have a really deep relationship with God, and that was something I really longed for. So as I got older, I wanted to start that on my own and also find a church that I felt was welcoming and would help foster that. When I was young, I really struggled a lot with anxiety and struggled with intrusive thoughts, and that was something that kind of followed throughout my life. As I got older, once I was in middle school, I started having body disorder issues. So that kind of manifested, and I felt like at the time it was helping me with not feeling like I could control my thoughts and my anxiety. So I felt like by controlling my body, it was something I did have control over. I now know that it was just me finding something else to put it into, and it didn't actually help. I started controlling my eating habits and just excessively working out, and it really ended up doing more bad than it did good. When I was a freshman in college, I experienced the unexpected loss of my brother, and at the time that was really difficult. I went through a lot of grieving and ended up suffering from really bad depression. I didn't turn from God, but I definitely didn't lean into Him. And I really used school as a distraction at that time in my life. I remember talking to my then boyfriend, but now husband, when I graduated school. And because I put so much of myself into school and used it as such a distraction for myself, once I graduated, I felt really lost. And just really did not know what my purpose was. And then fast forward to once I was in my career, I had the first withdrawal of one of my patients, and that really affected me more than I ever thought it would. The things I was going through, when I talked to a fellow medical professional, she explained what I was feeling. I was going through PTSD from what I had felt like what I've done at work. And that really set me into, I struggled from the PTSD, and then I had struggled from really bad depression after that. I remember talking to my mom, and I would look at a photo of myself or look at myself in the mirror, and I really felt like I did not know who I was looking at because I was just in such a dark place. I felt so disconnected from myself. That was my longest season, I felt like, and I went through times where I felt like I would think about self-harm a lot. My anxieties were really high. I feel like my intrusive thoughts were at an all-time high, and I just did not know how to escape it. Eventually, I found an anxiety study. Actually, it was a Bible study, and I started doing that slowly every day. And then I started listening to worship music a lot and just really starting to get into my Bible. And every day, slowly, I felt like things were starting to feel a little bit better. And then it was probably a year and a half after that, I was faced with the same thing at work. And I knew going into a shift that that's what my shift was going to be. So that was extremely difficult. I felt like I was just coming out of a period that was so dark and really, really difficult for me. And I didn't know if my heart could go back to that place and how I would handle it. So that was honestly the night that I feel like I was saved. I was driving into work, listening to my worship music, and I was just crying out and praying to God the entire time. In that moment, I really just asked Him to be with me. And throughout my life before that, a lot of it I feel like I tried to do on my own, and I knew I couldn't do it on my own anymore. I needed Him. I just needed His own strength, not mine. I needed Him to be with me no matter what I was going to go through, because I didn't know how it was going to go. And I just asked Him to be with me the whole time in the car. And it's so unexplainable, but the feeling that I had in the car, I can't describe it as anything else but feeling the Holy Spirit. I just felt, I was nervous to go into the shift, but just felt so reassured. It was just a really amazing feeling. It's something I always tell my husband, that I just want everyone to experience it, because I just did not feel alone. It just felt so reassuring to me. That was a really big turning point in my life. I really just owe everything to God and to Christ. I feel like I have a renewed life after that. Of course, still face struggles, but I'm not alone with them. And I just turn to my Bible and look for the truth, because anything that I try to tell myself or my mind tells me, it's usually just from the enemy and lies. And I just look to truth, and it's so reassuring. I want to be baptized because I just want to display what I feel internally. I just feel new from before, and I have a new life, and I'm so grateful for it. So that's why I want to be baptized.